Look at the screen in front of you. Touch the table you are sitting at. Feel the chair supporting your weight. It all feels incredibly real, doesn't it? It feels solid, permanent, and fixed. But what if I told you that everything you are experiencing right now is an illusion? A highly convincing, incredibly detailed mirage? Modern physics has proven that the material world you are looking at, the phone in your hand, the walls of your room, even your own physical body, doesn't actually exist in a solid, definitive state until the exact moment you decide to look at it. Sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, right? It sounds like we are living inside the Matrix. But this isn't Hollywood fiction. This is a scientific fact, proven time and time again by one of the greatest, most fiercely debated quantum physics experiments in human history. It's an experiment that has kept brilliant physicists awake at night for decades. But here is the part that will truly blow your mind. The shocking conclusions of modern quantum mechanics, the cutting-edge science of the 21st century, are exactly the same truths that a man named Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, spoke about 2,500 years ago while sitting in deep meditation beneath the Bodhi tree. He didn't have microscopes. He didn't have particle accelerators. Yet, he understood the very fabric of the universe. Welcome back to the Quantum Buddha Mind. Today, we are going to unravel a mystery so profound, it bridges the gap between ancient Eastern mysticism and modern Western science. By the end of this video, the way you view your reality, your struggles, and your own mind will be completely transformed. To understand this cosmic mystery, we have to travel back to the 20th century. Scientists were trying to figure out the fundamental building blocks of our universe. They wanted to know, what is light and what is matter made of? To test this, they devised a brilliant setup known as the Double-Slit Experiment. The premise was simple. Imagine you have a wall with two vertical slits cut into it. Behind that wall is a blank screen to capture whatever passes through. First, they fired tiny solid particles, like shooting tiny marbles, through the two slits. As you would naturally expect, the particles went straight through the openings and hit the back screen, creating two distinct vertical lines. That is exactly how solid matter should behave. But then, they decided to fire electrons. Now, an electron is a fundamental piece of matter. It has mass, it has physical properties. But when they fired these single electrons through the slits, something terrifying happened. Instead of forming two lines on the back screen, the electrons created a complex pattern of multiple alternating light and dark bands. In physics, this is called an interference pattern. And here is the problem. An interference pattern is a characteristic of waves, like ripples in a pond, not solid particles. This meant that a single, tiny, individual electron was somehow splitting itself, traveling through both slits at the exact same time, interacting with itself, and hitting the screen like a wave of energy. The scientists were utterly baffled. How could a solid piece of matter act like an invisible wave? Desperate for answers, they decided to cheat. They placed a highly sensitive measuring device, an observation camera, right next to the slits. They wanted to catch the electron in the act. They wanted to see, with their own eyes, which slit the electron was actually going through. And at that exact moment of observation, the impossible occurred. The very second the camera was turned on, the electron instantly stopped behaving like a wave. The interference pattern completely vanished. The electron suddenly acted like a solid, predictable marble, flying through just one slit and creating exactly two lines on the back wall. Let that sink in for a moment. The electron knew it was being watched. Simply by the act of observing, human consciousness forced the universe to make a choice. Before the measurement, the electron didn't exist in one specific physical place. It existed as a probability cloud, a wave of infinite potential, everywhere and nowhere at the same time. But the moment a conscious mind demanded to see it, that cloud of probability collapsed to form solid matter. Even the greatest minds in history struggled to accept this mind-bending reality. Albert Einstein, the brilliant father of relativity, was deeply unsettled by the implications of quantum mechanics. He famously turned to a colleague one night and asked, "Do you really believe the moon is not there when you are not looking at it?" For Einstein, reality had to be objective. It had to exist independently of us. The idea that human observation could alter the physical universe felt more like magic than physics. Yet, experiment after experiment proved that the quantum world doesn't care about our common sense. Modern science spent centuries, invested billions of dollars, and built massive, complex machines like the Large Hadron Collider just to peer into the microscopic fabric of reality. They did all of this just to realize that reality is an illusion dependent on the observer. But what if I told you that this exact same conclusion was reached long before the invention of the microscope? Over 2,500 years ago, a man named Siddhartha Gautama sat in deep stillness beneath the Bodhi tree. He didn't use mathematical equations or technological instruments. He used the most powerful observational tool in the known universe, the highly focused human mind. Through profound meditation, he pierced through the illusion of the material world. In the Dhammapada, one of the most revered Buddhist texts, the very first teaching drops a philosophical bombshell that sounds remarkably like a modern quantum physics textbook. It simply states, mind precedes all mental states. Mind is their chief. They are all mind-wrought. Read that again. The mind comes first. Reality doesn't create the mind. The conscious mind creates reality. The Buddha realized that the physical world we interact with has no inherent, steady, independent existence. Everything we see, touch, and feel is in a constant state of flux. In the famous Heart Sutra, there's a profound ancient chant. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. For centuries, many people misunderstood this emptiness, known as Sunyata, as a dark, depressing void of nothingness. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In Buddhism, emptiness simply means that nothing has a fixed, solid, permanent identity. Everything is a vibrating, interconnected web of energy. Sound familiar? It is the exact ancient equivalent of the quantum probability cloud. Just like the unobserved electron, the Buddhist concept of emptiness is not a void. It is a magnificent field of infinite potential. It contains everything and nothing all at once. Science now confirms that the solid matter you are touching right now is actually 99.999% empty space. The form you experience is merely a temporary manifestation, a collapsed wave function, brought into existence by the very act of your consciousness interacting with it. The world is not a pre-built stage that you simply walked onto. It is a live rendered projection. Through your senses and your consciousness, you are constantly observing the quantum field, collapsing infinite possibilities into the single solid picture you see. At the very pinnacle of human understanding, quantum mechanics and ancient Buddhist philosophy are not opposing forces. They are holding hands. They are simply two different languages describing the exact same profound reality. Modern physicists call it the observer collapsing the wave function. The Buddha called it consciousness, manifesting all phenomena. But let's step away from the laboratory and the ancient temples for a moment. Let's talk about you. What does this actually mean for your daily life? If the fundamental nature of reality is just a vibrating field of pure energy, waiting for your specific observation to take physical form, how does that change your tomorrow? It means everything. For centuries, humanity has operated under a Newtonian view of the world, the belief that we are tiny, insignificant specks living in a cold, mechanical, clockwork universe. We believe that things just happen to us. But quantum physics and Buddhist wisdom completely shatter that illusion. You are not a helpless victim thrown into an unforgiving world. The universe is not happening to you. It is responding to you. You are the active architect. You are the co-creator of your own existence. Let's look at the ancient concept of karma. In the modern world, karma is often deeply misunderstood. Many people think it's a cosmic point system or some invisible judge in the sky waiting to punish you for your mistakes. But through the lens of quantum physics, karma is not magic. It is simply the ultimate law of cause and effect, driven by frequencies and vibrations. When you walk through life with a mind consumed by fear, resentment, anxiety, or a mindset of lack, you are observing the world through a specific, negative lens. Because the universe is an interactive quantum field, it has no choice but to respond to your observation. Your deeply held negative states force the wave function of reality to collapse into physical events, difficult circumstances, and toxic people that perfectly match that exact low frequency. You literally solidify your own suffering. You become trapped in a reality of your own making. But the reverse is also true. And this is where your true infinite power lies. When you practice meditation, when you quiet the relentless noise of your mind, and when you actively cultivate genuine compassion, gratitude, and inner stillness, you are fundamentally changing your instrument of measurement. You are sending out an entirely new observation signal into the quantum field. When your internal frequency shifts to peace, the external universe must adapt. It is forced to restructure itself. It collapses entirely new wave functions, bringing unexpected opportunities, beautiful synchronicities, and a profound sense of harmony directly. The material world out there, the physical reality you thought was so solid and unyielding, might just be a grand, empty illusion. But the power you hold inside your own mind, that power is absolute, and it is infinite. The Nobel Prize-winning physicist Max Planck, the very father of quantum theory, once made a statement that shocked the scientific community of his time. He said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness." He was saying, in the language of modern science, exactly what the Buddha spent his entire life transmitting to his followers 2.5 millennia ago. For generations, we have spent our lives frantically searching for liberation, for peace, and for happiness in the external world. We chase money, status, and physical things, believing they will finally bring us fulfillment. But trying to find permanent happiness in a temporary, quantum illusion is like trying to quench your thirst by drinking a mirage. It will always leave you empty. The ultimate truth is this: stop looking outside. Turn your gaze inward. If you can master your mind, you master the universe. Because your mind is the architect of the universe. Remember this as you go about your day to day. Right now, in this very second, your consciousness is actively shaping your reality for the next moment. The quantum wave function of your life is waiting for your command. It is waiting for your observation. So, I leave you with this ultimate question. What will you choose to observe next? If this journey into the quantum realm has opened up a completely new perspective for you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the Quantum Buddha Mind. We are building a community of conscious creators who are ready to wake up from the illusion, and we want you to be a part of it. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Do you believe this physical world is real, or is it just a massive projection of our collective minds? Thank you for observing this reality with me today. Stay mindful, stay curious, and I will see you in the